Elon's Twitter is still up as I predicted, and to nobody's surprise, the drama is not over. Welcome to part 3 of the Twitter Apocalypse Explained. Previously, we witnessed the mass firing and mass exodus of Twitter employees as a result of haphazard layoffs and people leaving out of ideological and ethical differences. Elon acting like a child in the face of mockery by people impersonating him, and the banning of remote work while demanding the remaining staffers work hardcore 80-hour weeks to create a Twitter 2.0. In this video, we are going to take a look at some of the consequences of these events as well as the stuff that has happened since then. Anybody who's spent time on the internet knows that engaging in open conversation with a bunch of strangers on any platform requires thick skin, as any flaws, gaps, or remotely lampoonable statements made can and will get torn apart given enough visibility. As the richest man on the planet with around 120 million followers on Twitter, I'd say he has enough visibility to require some crocodile level coding, which as it turns out he does not have. In what may be a reversal of policy and perhaps his first admission of being too hasty, Elon announced the verification system would get relaunched with different colored badges for companies, public figures, and so on, all getting manually verified. Sorry for the delay, we're tentatively launching verified on Friday next week. Gold check for companies, gray check for government, blue for individuals, celebrity or not, and all verified accounts will be manually authenticated before check activates. Painful, but necessary. At the time of making this video, the new system has yet to launch, which isn't surprising given the current short-staffed nature of the company. But he has yet to explain how the manual verification will work or whether it might delay the verification process, especially given that more than half of Twitter's 7,500 employees have either resigned or were fired since Musk purchased the company about a month ago. It turns out that cutting staff before making rapid changes isn't conducive to those changes happening rapidly. Provided Elon is now taking verification a little more seriously, I'd say we're about to see Twitter hire people back to make sure the system actually runs the way people, Elon included, want it to. Making broad strokes that undermine a company's ability to operate under healthy conditions, both technically and socially, brings with it a lot of turbulence while public trust plummets like an airplane with all engines failing. Media Matters reports that in the first month of Elon Musk owning Twitter, half of Twitter's top 100 advertisers have pulled out, with a few more having reduced their advertising budgets to a trickle. Despite these advertising losses, Elon Musk, who acquired the platform in late October, has continued his rash of brand unsafe actions, including amplifying conspiracy theories, unilaterally reinstating banned accounts such as that of former President Donald Trump, courting and engaging with far-right accounts, and instituting a haphazard verification scheme that allowed extremists and scammers to purchase a blue check. This last move in particular opened the platform up to a variety of fraud and brand imitations. Indeed, the imitations temporarily shook the market value of several companies by billions of dollars, but that is something that will largely be looked at as a temporary bug in the system of a major social network that can be reasonably assumed to take actions to fix it. It is very likely the other stuff that's shearing away the hands that feed Twitter. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of a big consumer company, aka making products for us average folk, currently advertising on Twitter prior to all the drama. Elon Musk purchasing Twitter undoubtedly has tied his name to the social network. Elon of Twitter has been giving visibility to far-right accounts and has promoted conspiracy theories. These actions have been publicized just about everywhere. As a consumer company, we don't want to be associated with companies and people with extremist views and or misinformation. Let's get the hell out of there. Adding to the pile of decisions that is sure to make advertisers reconsider their usage of the platform is Twitter's abandonment of its policy against COVID-19 misinformation. This looks like it's going to allow any quack to promote their false claims about the virus, as well as treatments that may be ineffective or even dangerous. This policy was used to silence people across the world who continued the media narrative surrounding the virus and treatment options, tweeted Dr. Simone Gold, a physician and leading purveyor of COVID-19 misinformation. A win for free speech and medical freedom. Twitter was a cesspool before Elon took over. There's no need to have it contribute to the proliferation of actual disease and death as well. 2022 has been the year where Elon Musk has shifted his public politics from supporting Democratic leaders to aligning himself with the far right. Doing so is well within his rights as a US citizen, but with Twitter now owned by Elon adopting policies that endanger public health and safety as a result of his views, as well as his lack of public impartiality when it comes to US elections, it's not unreasonable to claim that a few lines have been crossed. The big picture. Republicans for now have been happy to cling to Musk's coattails and use his free speech crusade to clobber their Democratic and big tech rivals. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy demanded on Tuesday that the Biden administration stop picking on Elon Musk after the White House suggested it was keeping a close eye on changes to Twitter's misinformation and hate speech policies. Speaking of picking on people, Elon published what he calls the Twitter files via Matt Taibbi in the form of a series of tweets and screenshots detailing Twitter's handling of the Hunter Biden laptop story from 2020. Let me preface what I'm about to say with the fact that I don't really care much for the Bidens. Okay, so the problem with the Twitter files being made public is that it does not seem to serve anyone's benefit. The Hunter Biden story was widely publicized in 2020, with every major media outlet covering it in some form or another. The people who covered up the story at Twitter are already gone. Conservatives already know all about it. I know, this is Elon Musk virtue signaling to the right. But even Elon Musk's Twitter has its limits. Kanye West, or whatever he's calling himself these days, recently appeared on the Alex Jones show on InfoWars to go on an anti-Semitic rambling, going as far as to proclaim his liking of Adolf Hitler. Twitter Inc. on Friday suspended the account of Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, again, just 2 months after it was reinstated, because Elon Musk said the rapper violated the platform's rules prohibiting incitement to violence. Ye's account showed a notice that it was suspended after one of his posts had earlier appeared to show a swastika symbol inside a Star of David. Holy shit. Hate really does blind people to their own self-destruction, and Kanye has been dropped by his sponsors harder than advertisers are leaving Twitter. President Joe Biden wasted no time grabbing an easy political edge, which he really needs right now given the whole rail thing, by responding with the following statement. I just want to make a few things clear. The Holocaust happened, Hitler was a demonic figure, and instead of giving it a platform, our political leaders should be calling out and rejecting anti-Semitism wherever it hides. Silence is complicity. It's sad that there still exist people who deny these truths 80 years after the atrocities of World War II. Moving on, remember how the new verification system was supposed to launch already? Here's why it hasn't. Forbes reported that this version of Twitter Blue was intended to be available this Friday, but Musk's push to quickly get as many paid subscriptions as possible shifted when Apple suspended advertising on Twitter and, according to Musk, threatened to drop the app from its store. Ever hasty to come to conclusions, the richest man on the planet was able to calm down a bit after traveling to Cupertino in person to meet with Apple CEO Tim Cook to discuss this situation. Good conversation. Among other things, we resolved the misunderstanding about Twitter potentially being removed from the App Store. Tim was clear that Apple never considered doing so. To be fair, if I had just spent $44 billion on an app, I'd be a little paranoid too over the possibility of losing half my user base, especially with Apple being one of the companies no longer advertising on Twitter. The final piece to this is Elon not being too happy with a 30% fee on all transactions made in-app from apps on iPhone, which, like Epic, he seeks to get around. I can't blame him for that, but it is part of why Twitter Blue 2.0 is not rolled out yet. Before we get to the last bit, don't forget to hit the like button if you're having a good time and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Twitter is going through a lot of change, and it can be a little overwhelming to filter out what's a regular part of the change in ownership of a company and corporate restructuring, what's just Elon just winging it, and what's Elon Musk trying to impose his worldviews upon the rest of us. What is clear though is that Twitter will be alive for as long as two things hold true: the drama continues and people want to keep up with it, and the lack of a true alternative that roughly mimics Twitter as it was prior to being acquired by Elon. I put the same question to Swisher, who knows this stuff better than anyone. Mastodon, Post News, Hive Social, Blue Sky, whatever pops up, can any of these actually become a Twitter killer? No one is going to kill Twitter except Elon, Swisher replied. It's in his power to finally make it more than the internet age's most underwhelming business compared to its promise. But he could also keep crashing it into the same wall that previous leaders have been doing for far too long, except with more flamethrowers. We know advertisers haven't shifted course to go back to Twitter yet, and Elon hasn't committed to fully restoring Twitter's moderation guardrails. Given that, it's only a matter of time before the public and therefore advertisers pick a winner from the alternatives mentioned just now. Should this happen, Twitter will be forced to make yet further changes to its policy to shore up whatever support it can get at this point, or face being relegated to being yet another right-wing echo chamber. And we know how those go as far as public perception and financials are concerned. Not well. Either way, we might see a return to having multiple major competing social networks as we did in the early 2000s. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments below.